Hello everyone, welcome back to Royalty Soaps. Today we make the Petrichor Signature Soap. It is the soap that rather encapsulates the entire collection. If you want to learn about my inspiration for this collection, you can go watch the first video in this March soap series. I will link it now in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. Look, I got it right this time. This particular soap was inspired by a very gloomy photo that reminded me of a Bronte Sisters book cover right here. This is what it looks like. Doesn't that lady look woeful? Don't you think she has something on her mind? I want to know what it is. I'm nosy like that. I see people walking away in bonnets and I'm like, what is she thinking up there? I pulled the color palette directly from this photo, and while hindsight 2020, I might change one of the colors in this soap, I do think it captures the heart of the Petrichor collection. So without further ado, let's make some soap. Okay, you guys, I have all of my oils blended in this large container. If you want my recipe that I'm using today, I have it linked for you down in the description box below. This is the recipe I use in all of my videos for all of my soaps unless otherwise specified. It's at room temperature, which for me is about, 85 to 87 degrees Fahrenheit, I would say, just by feeling the sides. That's how you know you've been making soap a long time, when you can feel the side and be like, 88.2 degrees. Got my lye water solution. I'm just gonna pour that straight into the oils, right down the side of my container so as not to splash. And here's a helpful tip. If you're going to put a lid on your lye water solution, which I always recommend people do, put that lid back on after you get all of the lye water out. That way, if this gets knocked over, because now the container is really light, you're not gonna have like little sprinkles of lye water getting on anything. Okay, so now I am going to blend this up until really light trace, like just past emulsion. It's gonna take about 10 seconds or so on high speed using the Cuisinart stick blender. And now I'm going to pour all of this soap into 5 different buckets. Oh my gosh, so many buckets. So these are from the dollar store. And I can't wait to show you guys the color flight that I'm going to be doing today. I really hope it turns out right, because looking at micas in the container is not the same as looking at them in your soap. They can morph, your fragrance oil can turn them colors. More often than not, they look a lot better in the soap, but sometimes they look better not in the soap and just in their container. Or in melt and pour, because you're not dealing with the high pH of cold process soap making. Got a scrapey, my container. We won't be returning back to this container, so I'm trying to get literally like every single gram out of here. I'm a very religious scraper. I scrape till I can scrape no more. Excellent! Now, as I typically do with my layered soaps, I'm gonna be removing 4 of these and we're gonna work 1 layer at a time. Oh, this batter is at the perfect consistency. Everything's going right today. Now, for the first layer. First, let me show you guys once again the reference photo for this soap. We've got the navy and all the greens and a little bit of purple. So the base of the soap, I'm going to make the darkest color. So this is going to be a dark navy blue. I have ultramarine blue mixed with black oxide in this container. I'm gonna give it a little blend with my mini whisk here, just to make sure that nothing has settled at the bottom. Also, we have tried so many mini whisks. This is the one that we have found is the best. It's on Amazon. The battery lasts the longest and it's very, very strong. I don't know how you got a 2-for-1 like that, like with super long lasting battery life, but also like the sturdiest and the strongest. But yeah, highly recommend this one. Okay, let's pour this straight in. And I am gonna scrape my containers because I want this to be very pigmented. This is 3 parts ultramarine blue, 1 part black oxide. It will be very mysterious. All right, let's blend this up. It's perfect. Now the camera might be making this look black, but it's not. I promise it's not. It's just a really dark blue. And the fragrance oil I'm using today is proprietary, meaning it's a secret sauce blend. This is my River Song fragrance. So if you enjoy the River Song diamond soap, body lotion, or perfume oil from Royalty Soaps, you're gonna love this soap because it's the same scent. All right, let's blend that up with our stick blender. All right, let's pour this first layer into our mold. These molds are from Workshop Heritage. They are my favorite mold supplier right now because they do wooden molds that have silicone liners that's so hard to find. And then I'm going to scrape out half of this container. Get that right in there. And then I'm going to leave the rest of this in here for decoration on the top of the soap. I don't want this to be like super structured layers, but I also don't want it to be like really textured. I just want a little tiny bit of texture. So I'm just gonna wiggle it around while it's at this consistency. That'll do nicely. And we can move along to the next color. Admittedly, this next color might need a little bit of tweaking. Now this color is ultramarine blue mixed with I Dream of Purple. That's a Mad Mica's color. It's like a lavender color. So we have sort of a blue toned lavender. This matches hopefully, the lavender buds on top of the soap. And because I have a better feel for how the fragrance oil acts in the soap, I'm gonna go ahead and pour it in before I mix in the color. I found it rises just a tiddly bit, and because it's a very aquatic fragrance, I'm not surprised. Beautimous, let's blend it up. Oh gosh, I'm quite pleased. I'm not gonna change a thing. It matches the lavender buds nearly perfectly. Okay, let's pour it into our mold. This one's even more runny than the last one. How is that possible? I don't know. But I'm grateful all the same. Oh my gosh, what a luscious color. I think I'm not gonna scrape out this bucket because I love this color, so I want to put a lot of it on top. All right, wiggle around that top. Blue-ba-doo, blue-ba-doo. Ooh, swirling is fun. Let's do that. Okay, next layer. Now this is the layer that combines the greens with the blue purples. It's also consequently the one I am least sure about. This is Mint Julep from Mad Mica's. I'm gonna blend this one in before adding any fragrance oil because once again, I'm not sure if this is exactly the color I need. I might need to lighten it a little bit with TD. Let's see how it looks. Actually, I love it as it is. Excellent. This one's a little thicker, so let's move it right along. I make big apologies if you guys can hear a mower in the background. There's nothing I can do about noisy neighbors. Smear it around. Ya-ta-ta. Y'all know what time it is? If you said time for the next layer, you're right. This layer is just chromium green oxide, and I know this is going to be exactly what I want, so I'm just going to go ahead and add the fragrance oil straight to it before blending up the color. Blending time! Time to pour! All right, let's get that next green on there. Greens, especially greens with oxides, always get a little thick for my particular taste. I'm gonna scrape this one out completely because the next color is close enough to it that I don't feel it's going to enhance the top very much. Wigglety jigglety. All right, boop, boop, boo. Texture that top a little. You know what I love about texturing? You can do it different every time and it doesn't make a lick of difference. Last layer, woohoo! Poor last little bucket, it's been so patient. Kenny's laughing at me over there in that corner, but I don't care. The final color is a blend of the green we just used, so chromium green, with 3 Olive Martini. That is from Mad Mica's. Let's blend it up. Last one! Looks perfect. Okay, let's pour. This final layer I wanted to be like a fern green. It's very, very similar to the one underneath it. And in future batches, if I decide to, I might add a little, you know, TD or something to it. Who knows? It might lighten a little over time. You never really know until you cut the soap, and sometimes you don't even know then. Sometimes you have to wait a week or two to see the final colors. Go tap this down on the ground. Oh, that is a back-breaking chore. Now, I'm going to put on the little bits of soap that I saved. They've gotten to be quite thick, but I bet with a little elbow grease, I can still mix it into the top. Whoa, that went way too deep. I'll have to be a little more careful. All right, let's see what I can do with this soap. Looks like not too much. That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Well, I've had better ideas, but what you gonna do? Let me tap this down on the ground. Honestly, tap down, that looks a lot better. Let's get our lavender buds. Now these lavender buds are from Amazon, and they are the most potent purple lavender buds I've ever found. A subscriber recommended them to me like a year and a half ago, and I've never looked back because they're so gorgeous. Well, here you have it, the Petrichor soap. This bottom color is everything I dreamed it would be, and honestly, so is the purple. I have some thoughts on the green, but I will wait to draw final conclusions until I've actually cut the thing and seen the inside. Cutting the soap with Natasha today. She is my high top soap cutter. She's all the way from Russia. So let's go ahead and poke some soaps out here. So this is what they look like on the top, and this is what they look like on the inside. So as you can see, there is a significant difference between the layers, and these greens I may tweak slightly. I do like the way they look. I like this green on the top a lot, but I kind of think I might change this lighter green to an even darker green. I didn't use enough colorant in it, and it kind of did some funny looking things on this layer, but all of the other layers are great. It's just this one that I might end up changing and making a little darker. Might use some more of the chrome green. I'm really pleased with it though overall, and it smells so nice. And you can see now why I put so many lavender buds on it. Here they all are down here. And then each one of the bars has, you know, a normal amount on there. In total though, I do feel like the whole concept of Petrichor and the emotion and the feeling I was trying to capture with this collection is summed up with this soap. I think it pulled in all the colors that I wanted, and I'm really pleased with it overall, and I just can't tell you how good the smell is. I want to show you guys what I do in between loaves, so I'm going to cut another one. When I pull up the arm here on my soap cutter, the wires are still dirty. They still have soap on them. Then I take a wet sponge. Let's see if I can tilt this so that's not at such an awkward angle. And then I wipe down those wires between every single cut, because anything left on the wires will be transferred to the top of the next soap loaf. And it just doesn't look as good, so between every single loaf we cut at Royalty Soaps, we always clean those wires. Because if you do, say, a black soap, and then you leave all the residue on the wire and you cut a white soap next, all that black soap is gonna sit on top. It's just not gonna have a very professional look to it. And then unless I'm filming, all the little bits and bobs that get caught in the middle right here, those don't necessarily have to be cleaned every single time, as long as they're not obstructing the wires. Now, one of the things that I would like to see improved on this particular cutter from Goodspeed is these valleys in between the wires need to be deeper, in my opinion, because there's not a lot of room for the wires to go down. So on certain harder soaps that I've had to cut, I've really had to push and the wires haven't gone all the way through. If the valleys were deeper and the wires had to push down further, you wouldn't have that problem. Now, I should say, I've been able to cut all the soap. There's not any soap that didn't get cut eventually, but I've had to work a little harder. It could easily be solved, but that is my constructive criticism of an ideal soap cutter. Let me tell you though, what has been so nice is the clearance allowance on the top of this cutter. I have been able to cut all my high tops, as you guys have seen. Absolutely no problems whatsoever. It has been so nice. I've waited years for something like this, and the fact that even with shipping from Russia, it's cheaper from any supplier here in the United States. Man, you can't hardly go wrong with that. I do have an affiliate code for this cutter down below. Now, it's not an affiliate code for the entire shop. I just have affiliate codes for Etsy because I'm part of Reward Style, and Reward Style like is multiple platforms, and one of the platforms they're partnered with is Etsy, and Goodspeed is an Etsy shop. So if you're a soap maker that's been looking for a multi-bar cutter, which by the way is always an investment, no matter what. I have never seen a high quality multi-bar cutter that wasn't over $100, okay? So they're always an investment. Okay, so the question of today is a functional one for our Petrichor soap. I would like to know, would you guys like to see a compilation of all of the soap making equipment that I recommend, both for beginners and for people with businesses? I would probably break it up into two categories, hobbyists and business owners. If you're interested in seeing a video like that, please let me know. I know a good majority of you guys who watch my videos are only watching it for, you know, aesthetic soap making reasons and aren't super interested in business tips because you don't plan on making soap, and that's totally cool. So go ahead and take that poll up in the upper right hand corner of the screen to let me know so that I don't waste my time. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and once again, for those of y'all who enjoy our River Song fragrance and our body lotion, our diamond soap, our perfume oil, that's what's in this bar. It smells so good. It's also very, very strong. Well, I hope you guys had an absolutely lovely time with me today. The next video is going to be very, very special. It is a type of video I've never done before, and it's a little more somber than some of our other soap videos, but it's still going to be very positive. I can't wait to share that one with you next. And until then, be sure you do something fun for yourself today, whether that is going out on a walk in a crepe dress, mourning the loss of your Wi-Fi connection. I was trying to say that without laughing, but I cracked myself up. Or perhaps scrawling out your deepest thoughts and feelings about the rise of TikTok. Either way, do something that makes you feel happy or gloomy, whichever feeling you prefer the most. And I will see you all next time, so until then, bye for now. Let's get her straight. See. Zoom out!